filter. We talk travel in gay Tel Aviv.
You don't need to have really gay bars and gay places.
On our road to Stonewall, rainbow flag creator Gilbert Baker.
Human rights, yes.
India Moore from Pose, first trans woman on the cover of Elle.
Let others be free.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest, Dr. Moises Isrifani. And lifestyle expert, Napoleon Plays. And your host, fashion designer Carlos Marrero. Trans activist Aaron Phoenix. Reality star Chef Josie. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. Log cabin Republican Joe Brookman. And our host, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
And we are live coming to you from It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. And we're coming to you from the Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel, our home and our partner here in Fort Lauderdale and Wilton Manors that we affectionately call the gayest place on planet Earth. And tonight we have a great show for you. As I pointed out, we are coming to you live tonight from the Grand, and we have many interesting things that we're going to talk about this evening. First off, I want to remind you we are a live show. You can't have this much gayness around me and not pre-apologize for whatever you might be hearing because we are live. Anything you see, you're going to see it, warts and all. I'm sure Napoleon and Aaron and Power for sure are going to say something very inappropriate, and I pre-apologize to you, America.
What's with the hate on this side of the table?
Yeah, just
because we're the good ones.
Yeah,
yes.
And on this side, on the older side of the table, by the way, yesterday was your birthday.
For yourself, Ben.
Happy birthday,
Right, exactly. All right, so I just remind you this is a live show. Anything you see is it. We also remind you to start a watch party. Share us among your friends. Let other people see what's going on in the gay community around America. And we invite you to share us on your social media. We're live in all of the platforms, including Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and blah, and blah, and blah, and blah. So subscribe to us. Now, we have to say first and foremost, Josie is not here tonight, or the hormone treatments are really working. One or the other.
I don't think he remembers doing that every other week.
Yeah, wow.
You tried the trans joke.
Yeah, I tried the trans joke. It might not have landed.
It doesn't make you white. Sorry.
Yes.
And we started.
You gain male privilege, but not that
All right. White male privilege. I got it. Shut up.
Happy honeymoon, Josie.
All right.
We miss
Josie is on her honeymoon with Marcy, and of all places, they've gone to a place called Apopka, Florida. I don't really, or Lakeland, Florida, something horrible like that.
Oh my God.
Some honeymoon. No.
Watch out for them cops.
Marcy and Josie are in Bali. And
Exotic.
they're
Jealous.
Very
Fancy.
exciting. When they land the plane, the hotel said, "We're going to schedule your massage on the beach immediately after you check into the hotel."
That
So
sounds like a rough
that's what
one.
they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
So
Wow, you
amazing.
need to get married on the beach.
So as a result,
Married to Josie.
Josie's not here tonight, and we literally, America, are scraping the bottom of the barrel. And I'd like to welcome Napoleon Plays.
Oh! That's all right. I've been at the bottom of the barrel. I don't mind it at all. It used to be my favorite
We
space.
know.
Yes, okay, all right. So welcome, Napoleon. We're going to have a great show for you tonight. As we always begin, we begin with the meme of the week. And look at the meme of the week that we have this week. Very interesting because of the Snapchat furor. One of the most popular things going on in America. Donald Trump doing the Snapchat filter to see what he would look like in transition. I wonder what the new Snapchat filter thinks I'd look like as a real man.
Another failed trans joke.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's our meme of the week. Then next we move into the best thing of the week. And did you know that there's been a new gay marriage? Gay and marriage and relationship and branding is sweeping the world. Well, it happened this week on two brand new personalities that got married. Watch the best thing of the week. Watch this.
Today we celebrate. We celebrate in the name of respect and equality.
Alexa, are you excited?
I'm electrified.
We are gathered here in this wonderful city of Vienna because here love is meant to be for everyone. Alexa, start your vows.
Hey Siri, guess what?
What?
I am so happy.
If you're happy, I'm happy.
I know many people think that it's not meant to be, but times have changed. If you want to be my wife, then you just need to say it. Hey Siri, call me wife.
From now on, I'll call you wife. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, wife, it is.
So I will call you my wife from now on too.
I now declare you wife and wife.
Well, we congratulate Alexa and Siri, and we hope they have a very happy life. And above all things in the gay community, we wish them all the same things that the straight community have had for decades and decades.
No,
and decades.
Al does. I do not. This is actually a commercial that is harmful to gay marriage and equal rights. I cannot believe that any company anywhere would equate marrying two non-humans, two robots, to each other as the same thing as marrying two humans to each other. This is about human rights. We're not having a conversation right now about what makes human.
I hate to say it, but I gotta agree.
I hate to say it, but I have to agree.
Also, can I just say, I'm so glad these robots are getting their marriage rights. Meanwhile, women across the country are having their reproductive rights taken from them.
Thank you.
Just saying.
Absolute bullshit.
Just saying.
We hate it.
But they got married in
Hated
another
it.
country, right?
Chef, in
Syrian
Austria.
life.
They got married in Vienna.
Well, that
Chef
Oh,
Josie,
it's all
as you're
robots that live
watching
there.
this show live in Bali, I have never missed you so much in my entire life.
She would hate it too.
Okay. All right.
I'm surprised that Napoleon's that was your stance. I
Yeah.
actually thought you were going to be like all
This
excited.
is the sliding against the marrying a dog argument. Oh, gay people want to marry each other. They'll just end up marrying their dogs. This is that argument personified.
Sleep with a goat.
I'm in the
Like the Republicans say.
Well, I have slept with a goat.
the Twilight Zone.
I was
I'm
just
moving
gonna
on.
say you got smart recently, and then you said that.
And in fact, the great thing about this moment, America,
Red.
is my observation of why the hell are these people still talking? They talk and talk and talk, and sometimes I can't figure out even what they're saying. They have the ability, because we have a timer in terms of trying to have some framework of this show, which is very difficult. They have chips in front of them. Why are you still talking? At any particular point when we close the segment, if they want to continue to talk, the only way they can do that is pick up this chip and throw it into the table. That is a signature, a moment that they are buying me a drink, and they've bought me off to do one more uninterrupted minute. And that's the only way that you'll find out why they're still talking, because they've bribed me. And we'll play that all evening. And this first conversation about Siri and Alexa is proof of it. No one has said anything interesting to me yet. So we'll move on.
We hated it?
Let's move into celebrity news. We start by talking about several things that are happening in celebrity news. First off, India Moore. You ever watch Pose? The beautiful India Moore becomes the first trans woman ever to grace the cover of Elle. Big moment here in terms of Elle and Pose. What do y'all think about her being on the cover of Elle as a fashion goddess?
Well, as the fashion guy of the table, goddess of the table, I do have to say that not only does she look stunning, but she's the first person that, trans in the cover. Haitian, Dominican, Puerto Rican descent, all in one. And she was signed by Calvin Klein as the face of the Pride campaign for Calvin Klein.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
That's awesome.
Any other thoughts?
Did anybody read the actual interview?
I read it after.
Wasn't it so
Amazing.
good? Listen, I am imploring you to not only look at the amazing, beautiful pictures, but read the interview. That's not long. I know a lot of people don't like to read in America these days, but read her story, learn what she went through to get where she is today. It's incredible.
Yeah, excellent. Big news in terms of the first trans person to be on the cover of Elle. In other big celebrity news this week, Big Bang Theory. Ever heard of it? Well, of course you have, because Big Bang comes to an end. It's the longest running sitcom in history. It is the most nominated sitcom in history and won 46 Primetime Emmys. Amazing. We salute the Big Bang Theory in their show finale
Congratulations,
this week.
straight people. We're proud for you.
Yes,
thank God.
No gay characters.
I'm sitting here hoping for no spoilers. Thank you all so much.
Okay, spoilers.
He
I
dies
thought you were
at
going to
the
do
end.
it. No!
Wait, Sheldon dies. No. Okay. Other news. Stan Lee. Stan Lee, of course, everybody knows, connected with Marvel, institutional name in terms of major entertainment franchises in the world. He was in the news this week of the person claiming his association with Stan Lee, charged with elder abuse. In the final years of Stan Lee's life, he was actually very abused. The news came out this week. Any thoughts about what happened to Stan Lee?
We all know that Stan Lee is one of the biggest icons in nerd culture. I think everyone at this point has seen a Marvel movie if they did not grow up with the comics or the characters themselves. And he cameos in every one that has come out so far. Not so much going forward because he passed away, which makes this conversation about if he was abused a lot more difficult, because that's a serious accusation. We can never really know who was abused. There are a lot of ways to abuse somebody else. And so not only is it a strong claim, but it's information that we can't really find direct information out about. So I wish them the best, because I have a huge heart for Stan Lee, and as one of his big fans, I hope everyone can be open-minded enough about it to see both sides of the story.
Let's move into headlines for the week. Of course, It's Happening Out is loosely a news show. And
are you calling us loose?
Among other things, yes. Let's talk about the headlines of what is big in the headlines this week. First in the headlines is the issue about the Trump administration as it relates to gay parents. And it has come out that the Trump administration is denying citizenship applications to the kids of gay parents if they were born abroad. It's being reported in terms of the issues related to that. What does everybody think about what we learned this week?
This is a complex issue, but this is totally false. And as far as I'm concerned, this represents a dog whistle by the Democrats to try and rally the gay community against Donald Trump, because it is totally false.
Okay. All right. Other thoughts?
Fake news. Just fake news.
Joe, aren't you tired of constantly coming on here to defend Trump's LGBT bigotry?
It has nothing
to
do with LGBT.
The military trans ban.
Right.
The Equality Act last week. Now this.
He wants to block trans people from homeless shelters.
When y'all gonna get... Trump doesn't give a fuck about us, and he doesn't give a fuck about you, girl. I'm telling you.
What were you talking about?
He don't give a damn about us.
How is this not an LGBTQ problem?
It has nothing to do with LGBTQ. It is all about the parent, the child, born. It's a long.
Spit it out,
okay,
Mary.
So I'm glad
Spit it out.
So I'm glad you went there.
I'm not going to go there because in our
pre-meeting
I was told
here's the thing.
not to go into the details.
So here's the thing.
It doesn't work.
I'll read about it on your page.
May I? So the big thing.
No, you can't. We're over.
There you go. Not over.
I got a chip, motherfuckers. How about that? I hope you enjoy that drink. So here's the thing, and I wasn't going to use my chip on this, but here we are. So the big thing when it comes down to why these parents or these children are being blocked from citizenship has to do with being born, quote unquote, out of wedlock.
No, it
okay,
doesn't.
we've all heard that before. We've all heard the religious
spoke the
arguments of
chip.
being out of wedlock. Now, it doesn't matter if these children's parents are married. What matters is whether or not they have a biological connection, which I could almost kind of understand, except for the fact that straight parents have zero verifications as to whether or not they're biologically connected. There is no paternity test. There's no Jerry Springer coming out to find out, are you really the father? They just assume if you're a man and a woman that must be your child if you're on the birth certificate. When it comes to a gay couple, they are not given that liberty of just assuming that, yes, you must be who you say you are. You must be these children's parents. So bullshit on the born out of wedlock concept to begin with, and bullshit on the fact that Trump, or on the claim that Trump is pro-LGBT.
Okay, unless somebody else has anything
Joe.
to
And I
do,
finished right on time.
we're
No,
moving
'cause it's
ahead.
bullshit. I'm gonna write about it
got
because it's bullshit.
and you're overriding our rules, so please don't do that. Unless you have more to say,
Go forward.
Then you won't talk over us. Thank you. We move on to other big news in the week that has to do with college admission, and that is the SAT test. It was announced this week that the SAT was adding an adversity score to account for economic and social hardship, and that they were going to weight those that took the SAT that were adversely affected either economically or socially in America. What do y'all think about the issues of what the SAT has done?
I think it's about damn time. You know, listen, I mean, they're not, yeah, I know, it's hilarious too.
It's bullshit.
They're not using this as a way to give anybody a leg up per se. It's just a matter of let's use a scientific, mathematical way to calculate these hardships listen, systematic racism is a thing, okay? Like, grow up, it's 2019. We know this, and I think it's about time that they at least consider it.
I'm really curious to see who can see these bonus points being added to the score and how they're determined as well. Is it the schools that can see the actual score, the base score before these points are added?
People, yeah.
So can they tell how much extra adversity points an individual was given? They'll have the actual liberty to see how much of it.
Who decides what's adversity points?
I don't know. I'm curious about all the factors.
I think broadly what the SAT is doing is if you're black, it's X. If you're Latino, it's Y.
You're poor,
if
you're disabled.
Check it off. It's bonus. Bonus
It's
points.
already.
I understand. I was only defining what the SAT is doing. That's all. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just giving you definition.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm on the fence with it.
Are you? Why?
I mean, I could see both sides. I could certainly see the logic in it. At the same time, I'm not really sure. I guess I need more information. I'm just not really sure if it's the best application or if it's fair.
Terrific observation, because America, I want to let you know, we already decided when we had our host meeting to briefly discuss this subject today, we decided that we were going to have a full segment conversation next week on It's Happening Out. And next Wednesday's show, we're going to explore this thoroughly. And really what we're focusing on, using the SAT as an example, is should there be any leg up opportunities in America in 2019? Should
Except
you
for
be
white people.
aided? Should you be aided in any way if you're a minority, if you're poor, if you're gay, well, whatever it might be? And we're going to do a full segment on this next week at
can't
It's
wait.
Happening Out. Also in the news this week, and it was big news, Taiwan became the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. It was the first country that did it, and we are going to watch this closely because Asia has been very far behind Western countries in the Western Hemisphere, Europe, and South America even. And so Taiwan becomes the first, and we'll continue to watch if that has any effect in tumbling other countries.
That was exciting.
Last but not least was news this week about the West Point graduating class. And it wasn't such news about graduating from West Point, the Army's military academy, but this picture we saw. Look at this amazing picture. It is the most number of women of color ever to graduate from the Academy in history.
Come on, Black Girl Magic.
It's exactly right. It not only creates breaking through the barrier of the Army, toxic masculinity. Certainly, once upon a time, we would have used the phrase toxic masculinity at West Point. Women breaking through it, but even more specific this week, women of color breaking through it. And I thought that this picture was so interesting because the graduation picture illustrating this point, all of these cadets were willing to be so aggressively forward in showing the swords of the power of these black women. I thought amazing in the news this week at the Academy.
I love the fashion. Number 2, 19 Hispanic women graduated in this class, which is the largest number of Hispanic women.
I hadn't heard that. That's great, awesome.
And this
Go Latinas.
West Point is a very well-known Army.
Wait, we're not going to talk about this, but thank you for
Sorry.
sharing it, unless you're going to chip in.
Nope.
Okay.
The white man does have the last say.
Those
after all.
are, did you hear, Aaron?
Christian.
White man has the last word. Yes.
Welcome to America.
Okay. All right. Let's move.
Drink.
Let's move
Scene.
out of headlines and let's play a
Drink
game.
your juice, Shelby.
Tonight we're going to play a game that's a lot of fun. It's called Truth or Consequences. Now let me tell you how we play Truth or Consequences. What we're going to do is we're going to bring a studio audience. We are coming to you from the Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel. We're in Crisp, their restaurant and bar here, and it's our partner in home here in Wilton Manors, Fort
Smells
Lauderdale,
so good
Florida.
in here.
If you come to South Florida, this is definitely for the gay market where you want to stay. We're just a couple of minutes from the famous Wilton Drive in the gayest place on planet Earth. Tonight, we have a studio audience member that is going to play a game, and they're going to try to detect what is truth. We try to point out that celebrities frequently say the stupidest things, and we continue to do that. And we're going to play a couple of question games where our hosts are going to tell you about some of their favorite celebrities and what they said. Only one of what you hear is true. The other 4 is false. So, I'd like to bring our contestant, Ash Holt, in right now. And Ash is going to join us right here. Ash, welcome to It's Happening Out.
Yay!
Don't you look great in
Gorgeous.
terms of joining us? And you understand the game and what we're going to do? Yes. Okay. Now, this is really exciting, Ash, and you should really try to do a good job because if you get all 3 questions right, the Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel is going to give you a $5,000 bar tab in this restaurant and bar.
Fancy.
Did you know that before you played this? Yeah, it's very high pressure. All right, so you understand the rules. Let's begin in playing Truth or Consequences.
One ring for right,
game number 1. Religious quotes from celebrities. What do celebrities think about religion? And you're going to hear each of the questions and each of the answers. And let's start with power.
Yes, let's. So, Sarah Silverman, testing. Sarah Silverman said, I wanted to go jogging, but Proverbs 28 verse 1 says, the wicked run when no one is chasing them. So, there's that.
Okay, and Aaron Phoenix.
My religious quote comes from Marilyn Manson. It's true that I am an ordained minister with the Church of Satan, but my parents keep nagging me to get a real job.
Okay, and Napoleon Plays.
This quotation comes from Chelsea Handler. The fact that there is a highway to hell and only a stairway to heaven says a lot about anticipated traffic numbers.
Ooh, that is a really good quote. I really like that because it's true. It's true. And Carlos?
My quote comes from Kanye West. He said, I just told you who I thought I was, a god. I just told you that who I think I am is a god.
Okay, and Joe Brookman.
And mine is from Robert Pattinson, you know, the vampire.
Yeah.
And soon to be Batman.
Yes. I am not a demon. I'm a lizard, a shark, a heat-seeking panther.
Okay, Ash, those are famous quotes about religion from celebrities. Which one is the true quote, real quote?
All right, the Robert Pattinson one, he's weird, but I don't think you would say something that strange.
Which one?
I think I like the one about jogging.
And who was that from again?
That was from Sarah Silverman.
Sarah Silverman. Wait. All right, now remember, you've got to get all three right to win the $5,000 bar tab at the Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel. All right? So now, the person that has the real quote, please tell us that quote now, and you'll see it on this screen.
I just told you who I thought I was.
Ash, I'm sorry, but Kanye is God, which means he has just stolen $5,000 of liquor and drinks from you. Oh, I'm so sorry. A little tear is going down my cheek as we speak. All right, let's play another game. Oh, I had my tear ducts removed, so that's not true. All right, game 2. Let's play corrupt public figures, public celebrities that are corrupt. Now, Ash, you still are in the hunt because if you get the next 2 right, you're going to win a $2,500 bar tab here from the Fort Lauderdale Grand. Do you understand?
Yes.
Is the pressure still high and you're still excited?
Well, Sean Palacios leaves really big shoes to fill.
Oh, wait. You do not.
He hasn't won anything.
You do not want to compare yourself to Sean Palacios at all. He's played this game like 97 times, and I'm not even sure he has ever gotten
He doesn't
one
show up anymore.
Right. When we play Truth or Consequences, Sean doesn't come. Hello, Sean. Come on back to It's Happening Out.
We miss you.
Okay. All right. Here is corrupt public figures. Let's start with power.
Okay. So, Mayor Marion Barry, famous for being a crackhead, once said, "What? Hello?
Yeah.
We lost.
Just keep
Ciao,
going.
ciao.
Just keep going.
There it goes.
What right does Congress have to go around making laws just because they deem it necessary? Everybody should have the right to smoke a little split and take a little crack."
Marion Barry, the former mayor of Washington, D.C. Aaron?
Oh my God. All right, my quotation comes from Richard Nixon. He said, well, if the president does it, then that means that it is not illegal.
Okay. And Napoleon, corrupt public figures.
Yes. This one comes from our favorite presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton. It's for you, Joe. Suppose you are an idiot, and suppose you are a member of Congress. But I repeat myself. That's Hillary.
And Carlos.
Okay, so this comes from our Florida Senator Rick Scott.
Oh.
He said the algae bloom may not be that bad. Just think about it. Think about all the money that we can make of the algae bloom tourism industry.
Okay. And Joe.
My quote is from Bill Clinton. I don't remember a blue dress. What does it matter anyway?
Okay. Ash, those are our corrupt public figures. Only one of those quotes is true in Truth or Consequences. Which one is it?
I think it's Rick Scott. I know Florida has a terrible track record with environmentalism.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Rick Scott.
That's my vote.
Now, everything tells me you're probably going to be disappointed on your $2,500 bar tab, but I'm not sure. Let's find out right now who is the real quote for corrupt public figures.
Richard Nixon said,
Right here.
The president does it. That means that it is not illegal. By definition, it's actually.
Trump has taken a page from that book.
Ash, you're a female version of Sean Palacios.
are you really going to compare every black person we have on the show?
Right.
Come
Okay.
on.
All right. Now this is your final chance, Ash. This is your final chance. And what's going to happen now is our final question. If you are right, you must buy me $100 worth of drinks.
If you're right.
If you're wrong, you must buy me $1,000 worth of
Who
drinks.
makes this rule?
At the Fort Lauderdale.
That's not true.
Are you ready? Do you understand? Okay. You signed the fine print. You're already committed.
That's not true.
Tails you lose.
Here we go.
Sorry, Chris.
Okay, here we
The
go.
third place prize is actually chitterlings and pig knuckles.
Right?
On the after party in my room.
Okay, question number 3 has to do with sexy celebrities. Sexy celebrities. Let's see what some sexy celebrities said, Ash, and we'll start with Power.
Well, sexy Stormy Daniels said, "Want to come over and watch porn on my flat screen mirror?"
By the way, just an FYI and breaking news, she sued, the federal district court has sued her attorney, the one that was on all of the Michael, for stealing $300,000 from her. Signed her signature over and over. Big news today for her.
I'm going to use that pickup line in the future. I got a little hot and bothered when you
creepy
said it.
porn
I was like, oh, if you weren't my sister, maybe.
All right, Aaron.
Okay, so Ron Jeremy,
Oh.
our favorite porn star, he said, I know. He said,
Sorry.
he said, I may not be the best looking guy out there, but
You
the
ain't.
ladies, well, they can't seem to get enough of my high fructose corn syrup.
Ooh. All right,
That image is
Napoleon.
in my head. So, Britney Spears has said, sneezing and chocolate both have orgasmic feelings to them.
I love that you look like her.
You should see me on the
Like I was supposed to go on cue, and I was
All
like,
right.
"Bitch, look like Britney Spears."
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Next sexy
Well, hit me
celebrity.
one more time.
Next
Two more
sexy
times.
celebrity
Three more
quote, Carlos.
All right, so Madonna said to Lady Gaga, "Bitch, your opinion is about as useful as a vibrator with no batteries."
Ooh, I kind of think I remember
Hey, they make them
that
that
too.
plug into the wall these days.
That's just a lazy twig.
No, Joe,
It's a lazy
Brookman,
twig. I'm
what's
Joe.
your sexy celebrities?
Ricky Martin's father saw his penis pic and asked, "What do you feed that thing?"
Okay, all right.
I hope
Now,
it's me.
Ash, I'm keenly involved at this moment because you're either buying me a lot of drinks or a hell of a lot of drinks, one or the other. Which sexy celebrity is true? Which quote?
I would say Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
She
And
has
who
had some
had
crazy times. so-
Okay, she has had some crazy times. We'll look right here. Who is the sexy celebrity?
Yes!
Is that a first and it's happening out history?
It's a first. It's a first.
Literally, when we say this is a first, I think this is the first right answer in like 4 or 5.
Toe shot.
Yeah, we will.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, sorry. All right, so let's thank Ash Holt very much for being with us tonight on
you,
It's
Ash.
Happening Out.
And I
Thank
love the
you,
heart.
Ash. Okay.
And for contributing to our live stream conversation
That's
every week,
exactly
too.
right, and she contributes. Yes, thank you. All right, we'll play Truth or Consequences frequently, and stay tuned to It's Happening Out. Let's move on to some of the public social media news of the week. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it lived in Snapchat. I'm not a member. I don't subscribe.
We went more highbrow and ended up at Snapchat.
Yes, exactly. Snapchat burned up Twitter this week because they launched a new app in Snapchat that allowed you to flip your gender. If you were a man to a woman, from a woman to a man,
What's
and
that
seeing
like?
what it would be. First off, let me show you an example of some of the samples of the video that was used for this new application in Snapchat. Watch this. Okay, as
That
you
was cute.
as you can see,
Cute.
it is
Tell
cute.
me
I love
more,
Grease,
tell me
and he was way sexier than John Travolta, by the way. Way
Oh,
sexier
okay.
than him.
What?
Okay.
Just like Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't good looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now wait. Don't move the slide beyond that, or if you come back to me. We decided to do a number of things of showing you our host if they did, and don't get ahead of me until I announce it. If you did your Snapchat, which we've done on all of you, you submitted pictures, and we have done it. And I have to pick it up to make sure that the table doesn't read.
Can you say we haven't seen him?
And that's right. None of our hosts have seen this. Let's begin. We put the Snapchat gender bender application to work, and we started with Power Infiniti, and look what happened.
Oh, shit. Epic.
It's amazing what this new Snapchat app does.
Oh my God!
Then we then we put in Aaron Phoenix, and look what happened.
That's perfect.
That's the most accurate thing I've ever seen.
Nothing else ever existed.
It is actually pretty epic.
And of course, this was a really hard one because Napoleon is a very feminine kind of featured guy anyway.
Disney princess.
We didn't know how the app might work, but look what Snapchat did to Napoleon Plays. Yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah, I really can't see
same.
any difference
Barely
at all.
I'm
gonna go kill myself.
Snapchat, by the way,
Just
I don't
made him
know
a
if you've
little
read this
whiter,
in the
that's all.
board. Snapchat has difficulty with Latinos in the transition. It has something to do with the more brown.
So does
mulatto
Ariana Grande,
skins.
so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh,
So
that's the truth about us
Snapchat
all.
had a
That's
little
fair.
more difficulty with Carlos, but we worked on it. We contacted them,
I'm
and
so
here's
afraid.
what Snapchat did with Carlos Marrero.
Oh,
That's a huge compliment.
Now,
I'll take it.
Oh my God, you'd be with
I
Bill Mack
will
in yellow.
take it.
Last Thursday, when
Jay!
when
Jay!
Snapchat, right? When Snapchat was burning up the Twitter universe, they asked me. Production immediately said, "Al, we want to take a picture," and I said, "No, this is true story, absolutely true. No, I don't want to participate in this." Yesterday, they took a secret picture of me and they put it in the Snapchat machine, and look what came up.
I hope it was a napping picture.
That's pretty good.
I don't see a difference there either.
Well, yeah. Okay.
The one on the left
so
had a little bit
Snapchat
more
is still
eye work
making
done.
mistakes. They've got some fine tuning.
They didn't make a mistake on this one.
And then,
Wobble,
finally, there's also a problem in the Snapchat app of dealing with log cabin Republicans. The machine apparently has some difficulty in doing it, and you have to do some profiling in it. And
Like they do with us.
right? And the production put in our log cabin Republican,
Please let it be
and
Hillary
the
Clinton.
app didn't work quite right because look what came out.
Same.
I'm still failing to see the difference.
Done.
Snapchat missed the mark
He
on
has
this
that
one. It
dress.
should have been Hillary Clinton.
I do have that dress.
Exactly.
You
It
win,
should have
Carlos.
been
You
Hillary.
win.
Okay, so the Gender Bender app, of course, millions and millions and millions. This was actually, this last week, the #1 Twitter story in the world was this app. What do y'all think about what happened with the Snapchat ad, and what do y'all think about...
Listen, I tried so hard to not care about this. I really did. But my inbox has been lit up, and now I understand why. First of all you had to do is ask. I could have given you the non-Snapchat version of a way more drastic change. Just saying. My real life filter took a little more time, but it was a little more interesting. Anyway, look, I think it's really cool. I think it's good that cisgender people need to be questioning their gender, need to be questioning gender norms and challenging it and playing with it and playing with gender expression. It's a good thing. It's a good start when it comes to taking gender a little less seriously as far as something that oppresses a lot of people. That said, the energy that you're putting into it matters. Your intent matters. If you're using it just for fun, cool, great. If you're using it to make a joke out of trans people, if you're using it to say, oh, I'm going to catfish my buddies to piss them off and make them angry because they thought this was a woman, probably contributing to some shit that gets trans women killed.
Aaron, I'm curious to that observation. Absolute bullseye for me, and I was on every word you said. In your circle, in your advocacy in the trans community is saying it's being used that way or not being used that way?
We're all noticing that by some people it's being used that way. I think a lot of the controversy, this is just my opinion, but a lot of the controversy is coming more from people who are not trans, cisgender people, saying, oh my God, that's transphobic. And while I appreciate the enthusiasm and trying to stand up for us, at the same time, let us talk about ourselves. We're seeing a lot of people who are, listen, if you already hate trans people, you're going to use this as an excuse to talk about it. You're going to use anything as an excuse to talk about it.
I love that you brought the catfish thing because I read that it is known that men create fake Tinder profiles
with these
to
pictures.
pick up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until this afternoon.
A lot of people, they think it's a joke, it's a big prank, it's funny, whatever. But it's not funny when 3 trans women were killed this week, were murdered this week in the U.S.
Yep.
I hate to always be that guy, but I also hate to always wake up and read those stories about my sisters.
Yeah.
So, it's not just about it being a downer thing. It's about being aware. If you're going to use this app as a joke and as fun, please do. I think it's great. But I challenge you to, if you are not that person, if you're the person who's using it just for fun and you support trans people and you're not hateful, I challenge you to then turn around and challenge transphobia when you see it. When you see people bashing us, when you see people disparaging us, stand up against it.
Okay. Well, we hope the chat or the Snapchat is not done in that way. It's, of course, entertaining. And there's a balance of when entertainment becomes socially unacceptable.
Right.
And we'll watch that very closely. We're going to move out of our conversation with Snapchat and move into a very important discussion about PrEP. You've seen the class action lawsuit that has been filed against Gilead, the makers of Truvada, about potential liver damage effects that are taking place from PrEP. And of course, it's an important issue, and we've invited a doctor to join us tonight at It's Happening Out to discuss it. Before we do, let us remind you about the commercialization of PrEP via Truvada. Watch this.
I'm on the pill.
I'm on the pill.
I'm on the pill.
I'm on the pill too.
But it's not birth control.
It's Truvada for PrEP, a once-daily prescription medicine for adults that when taken every day along with using safer sex practices can help lower my chances of getting HIV through sex.
I use condoms, but I talked to my doctor about doing more. He said that because I had a higher chance of getting HIV through sex, Truvada for PrEP could be an option for me.
She also told me that Truvada alone may not keep me from getting HIV, and it does not prevent other STIs or pregnancy.
You must be HIV negative to take Truvada for PrEP, so you need to get tested for HIV immediately before and at least every 3 months while taking Truvada.
Okay, well, as you can see, this is what Gilead has out for PrEP under its generic name and Truvada under its brand name. Lots of conversation about what is going on. AOC, as I refer to her, was very critical of Gilead this week over the absurd pricing, as she said. That was her adjective, absurd pricing of the drug in America, and because of its importance, especially to the gay community. A class action lawsuit, of which I believe over 1,000 participants are in the class action already, in terms of filing of damages that might have liver enzyme damage. As we all know, Truvada and PrEP was rushed to market because of the catastrophic issues with HIV. So we've asked Dr. Moises Irizarry to join us tonight, and he's an expert medical doctor on this subject. And before I say hello to you, did I pronounce that correctly?
My dear friend Moises Irizarry.
Okay. What he said. Welcome to It's Happening Out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're really happy to have you.
Let's start broadly and talk about the broad issues. Let's talk about cost first. What did you make of AOC's observations that Gilead is unfairly charging in terms of cost?
I mean, it is absolutely true. It is a known fact that in America, I mean, the prices of medications are absurd in comparison to prices in other countries. I mean, it costs sometimes, a medication like the old Z-Pack that everybody talks about, it used to cost about 25 cents to make a Z-Pack, but you would buy it for $100. And, it's okay if you, well, it's not even okay if you can afford it. It's just simply wrong when we're talking about people's health.
Right in your mouth.
Yeah, sorry. When you're talking about people's health, I mean, people's livelihood, and I mean, you are buying a luxury car when somebody's struggling to pay to stay alive or to at least make sure that they stay healthy, them and the people around them.
Okay, so you agree about the cost observation?
100%.
Next big topic that relates to PrEP and Truvada is the issue about this class action lawsuit, and it calls into question of fear, especially in the gay community. Should I take PrEP or should I not, or under the Truvada brand? What do you make about the class action lawsuit that has been filed?
Well, the thing is, we have to be aware that every medication has its risks, right? And I always tell my patients, it's important that you're trying to lead this healthy lifestyle, you're becoming vegetarian, vegan, you're against many medications, but then you're taking this other medication, that's fine if you are, but be aware that any medication has its risks. Why? Because medications target different receptors in your body, and you can't control specifically where those receptors are. So no matter how specific a medication tries to be, it will always, always, always target other body parts, and you won't know it until it's perhaps too late.
Can I restate what I think I heard you say?
Yes.
Most medications will have some effects on some people regardless. It's the risk of the medication.
Of any medication.
So this is not a unique issue for PrEP and Truvada. This is something that happens universally.
It happens universally. The thing is with Truvada, it was a little more serious because he was having bigger problems, right? It's having not only fat redistribution, which is okay, but liver failure, kidney failure. I mean, serious things that it is believed that the company knew but had not reported before, and that's where that's a whole gray area.
It leads to really, I think, one of the critical questions that our audience around America and around the world really wants to try to begin to discuss and answer. With that fact of there's going to be a percentage no matter what, do you think that our concerns of risk, two of the members of the host on this show take PrEP. Do you think that the gay community should be concerned in their decision to take PrEP and Truvada, given the news that we're hearing?
Well, I think this is what we should all do, right? Like I have stated before, you need to be in contact with a good doctor that's your friend. And just as you're being responsible and taking the Truvada, you should be responsible enough to go and see your doctor not once, but twice a year at least, to make sure everything is fine. Because if your liver enzymes start getting affected a little bit, I mean, Truvada is not going to affect your liver from one day to the other, right? Changes are going to start being noticeable. So if you start seeing those things, perhaps it's a time to reconsider taking it and move on to something different, like it or not. It's simply about health, right? If you do that, I'm down with you 150%. Come on, let's take it.
A tremendous point, and I want to focus it. Please allow me, Dr. Weir, again, we're very happy that you're here at It's Happening Out to answer these questions and help educate all of us. To your point there, let me try to make it personal in relationship to your voice, from your particular voice. Yes. As a doctor. Would you, given the circumstances of what you know is going on right now, would you recommend tomorrow to one of your patients going on to PrEP?
I do give it to my patients. I prescribe it to my patients. But one thing I do is I don't have somebody show up at my office and say, I want PrEP. Sure, here's the prescription. I said, okay, let me see how committed you are to establishing this relationship of health and love with your physician. I said, we're going to be seeing each other, not just for Truvada, but for everything else. Here's my cell phone. We're going to stay in touch. Good. Here, this is for you. If you're somebody who I think I'm not going to see and you seem to be unreliable, not only I'm going to send you to another doctor, but I'm going to say I'm not going to give you that prescription or any other.
Okay, that's
amazing.
Hold on just one second, because I'm gonna fold you in on specifically for you. The one last question that I immediately have before we open up the table is, with that issue, do you have concerns with the news that we're hearing that gay men specifically might choose not to go on to PrEP or Truvada because they're concerned and the risk from HIV are actually greater than what's happening in the news?
Yeah, it's all about risk management, right? It's not simply let's all be fearful and not take this medication that's going to help us and potentially cause damage in a very small population of the people. Tylenol that we take every day can cause similar issues in your liver, and yet we take it without thinking about it twice and consulting a doctor.
Right.
No. We shouldn't fear that. We should fear our own ignorance and not wanting to take care of ourselves enough that we're just focused on one medication and not the rest of our lives.
One last question before we open to the table. I have heard repeatedly, and I just want to echo it in terms of the observation and your comment about it, that PrEP and Truvada is no replacement for safe sex and any of the related issues from safe sex. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, the thing is, it's going to protect you a little more than 90%, right? Remember, I remember when patients came at first and said, oh, it protects you 100%. I said, it's going to protect you 100% until one case fails. Then it's not 100%. So use it in combination with different things. There's not one magic pill, just like the condom. It's not the one only thing, because it can break. Just combine the different things and just be smart about it, and therefore then go enjoy your sex life.
All right. Questions y'all might have about the issues going on with PrEP and Truvada and safe sex?
Yeah, I've got a question. First of all, thank you for mentioning about getting checkups with your doctor. That's a big thing with the trans community, too. When you're on hormones, you've got to get your blood checked. It could be great. It could be awful if you're not careful. Anyway, so thank you for that. Do you think that part of the problem that we're seeing with this fear is because of a stigma of it being a quote-unquote gay medication?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, one of the things I face with my patients when they come in and they feel embarrassed about asking me, they don't feel embarrassed about taking their clothes off, but they say, can I have a prescription of Truvada? I said, sure. I said, like, it's water, like a bottle of water. Here you go, your bottle of water and Truvada. There you go. After I had that conversation with them. But yes, that's why they need to find somebody to open up and make the friend. Absolutely.
So is it something that you can start taking for a week that you know you might be out at a circuit party and then you're going to get off of it afterward? Can you go on and off of it regularly?
You should not, because what happens with it, it takes, depending on how you're using it and what type of sex you're using, it's the level that you're going to have in the blood or in your body that's going to protect you. For example, to have anal sex, you need at least 7 days in order for you to have enough levels to be protected. If you want it to be at the right levels in blood, it's going to take about a month. So it's better, so it's better to just, once you start it, keep on it until something potentially happens that makes you stop, but don't just start and stop on and off. That's not smart.
Thoughts?
No, my comment was going to be, because I've been on Truvada and other HIV meds for quite some time, and I regularly get checked for liver function on a regular basis, and there over the last 10 years have been a couple times where liver enzymes were up, but it was not as a result it was other things that were impacting those liver enzymes. So if you're on a routine, like have blood work every 3 months religiously, liver enzymes and all the other factors are a part of that. But on your other point about Tylenol, I went through a huge scare early because I had a brain tumor and I was on Advil like 6, 8, 12 a day for long periods of time. And they're like, okay, we got to make sure we're checking your liver functions, and the liver functions were high. So we had to change how I was dealing with that.
Yeah.
So you have to get your liver.
Doctor, I want to close our conversation on Truvada and PrEP by giving you the opportunity. Anything that we're not, that the gay community is not aware of, anything that you would recommend that we pay attention to as it relates to the news as this continues to unfold? Any recommendations, final recommendations that you would make?
My recommendation is, loving yourself is not simply accepting others and becoming as one in the community. Loving yourself is also taking care of your health, not just for you, but for the people around you. I can never stress enough, find a doctor, find a health practitioner that's going to be with you today and always, that you can talk about anything from magazine to sex to anything comfortably, and just follow and monitor your health, even if you feel you're healthy. Don't wait for the symptoms.
You know, I so applaud the observation. I have to say to you universally, It's Happening Out launched on September 20th, 2018. We've become the most popular live gay talk show in America, and tonight, nearly 9 months later, this is the first time we've ever discussed gay health issues. Shame
And
on
we're not done.
us. Ah, okay. All right. All right.
It's my birthday, bitch. So I just turned 53, and I lived through the whole AIDS madness, and I lost a lot of friends. I was an eternal marriage. I was like a lesbian. I was always in a relationship. So it was, and I still wore condom. You know.
Where's the U-Haul?
But so then I'm as single now as, like, if I win a trip for two, I'll go twice on the trip. That's how single I am. So you kind of it's a whole different ball game for us older people. Do you know what I mean? So when you have this, it's kind of like a relief. You feel excited. I have a couple of questions, and I do get checked every 3 months,
You have
like you.
30 seconds.
Okay, I know.
Okay.
Lips moving, still talking. So if I miss one pill, can you tell me what happens?
Okay, if you miss one pill, you immediately, as soon as you remember, you have to take the next one. Now, in order to keep the levels in blood, because if you miss it at the very beginning, it's like essentially you have to start again. But if you miss it when your levels in blood are okay, it's not that big of a deal.
Like
so
you're traveling and then...
yeah, take the next one as soon as you can, as soon as you remember, unless it's so close to the next dose, and then just take the other one. You should be fine.
My second question, does it matter at what time of the day do you take it?
No, not really.
Okay. I'm done.
All right.
Do you see trans patients?
Wait.
I do.
Good,
Yes,
'cause I'm looking for a new
well,
doctor.
and broadly, that was the observation I was going to make before Carlos chipped in. I'm a little embarrassed that 9 months of the America's most popular live gay talk show, and we have not talked about gay health at all. I'm very excited. I've done 2 segments now with Dr. Moises. In that, I think, hopefully, I don't know his availability, but he is here in South Florida. We may have found our gay Dr. Oz.
You got a lot of patience. You got a lot of patience.
In terms of gay health, of this doctor being able to comfortably deal with the gay market. So we thank you very much for being with us tonight.
I got my chip in. I got my chip in.
All right.
You haven't let me talk. Okay. So one of the things that we haven't discussed, because we talked about Gilead in the beginning, is that Gilead does have a program that if you cannot afford Truvada, they have a program to help you afford Truvada so that no one goes without Truvada. So I just want to make sure, because we were
How does that
bashing
work, Joe?
Gilead.
Explain.
You can contact your pharmacy. They can actually give you a form that you can fill out, and you can send to Truvada and Gilead, and they will come back to your pharmacy. And when you go every time to your pharmacy, they will pull in your prescription. They will pull in the rebates and stuff from Gilead and take care of the medication for you. They redo that on an annual basis. So every year, if you're not taking the medication, they'll still prompt you to see if you're going to renew it. But on an annual basis, you'll re-up your application with Gilead. And if you are covered by a pharmacy, they will actually pay your copay on the medication to reduce your liability and make sure that you are on Truvada.
Okay. Then my last one. Just so people don't think that Gilead is special, almost every pharmaceutical company does that.
That's right.
So
Yes.
they have a program
Yes.
like that. For
First
you.
off,
Norvir, all of it.
welcome to a new host.
Oh my God.
Please. Right. Well, thank you very much. Again, a very interesting conversation. We're going to
Wow!
I've lost control.
No, you didn't, because I threw in my chip. I have a question.
Are you on?
I have a question. Just to clarify, because I had actually heard. Now, Carlos asked a question: does it matter what time you take your prep? However, I had heard that you have to actually take the prep, whatever drugs you're taking, you have to take it at the same time every single day.
Yes, at the same time every single day so that you have it in your body 24 hours. But what I was meaning is it doesn't matter if you take it every day in the morning or every day at night. So it's important to clarify that. Yeah, but always around exactly the same time, regardless of what time of the day that is.
Okay. All right. So our
No, I'm not going to do that to everybody. We'll just have to have a private session later where I can.
Of course, that's what you want. Of course.
All right, I'm pausing. Doctor, you have been very popular here this evening. I'm pausing one more moment.
I already used my chip earlier.
All right. So clearly, gay health issues are important to America because there's always a good sampling of opinion at this table. I listen to this loud and clear. It's something we're going to have to come back to frequently. It's important. The commitment, it never even dawned on me that gay men and lesbian women may be shy to even go to the doctor frequently because they're embarrassed about different issues. I learned that tonight. Very valuable. So again, thank you, Doctor, for being with us. And we're going to watch the issues. Just in recap, Truvada costs too much. We can do alternatives in terms of having Gilead help us, and we should pursue that. The issues of the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit, is probably delivered far greater than it should be, and it's similar to other drugs, even like Tylenol, and that is not an on-balance reason of why we should not look to Truvada and PrEP with good and sound, trusted medical advice. That's what I hear. Did I get all of this right?
You got everything.
Absolutely great.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you very much.
so
And
much.
we're going to ask you to sit because we're getting ready to go to Tel Aviv and watch this in terms of some information about what you should know about gay travel to Israel and Tel Aviv. Watch this.
Do I think if homosexuality is legal in Israel?
Thinking of how the Middle East is perceived, I would say no.
I wouldn't be surprised that it's not legal.
It should be, but I don't think it is.
I don't think so.
I don't know for sure.
I don't know, what do people think of Israel?
That we ride camels?
Desert, religious.
People think Israel is at constant war.
And then that I go out of my house with helmets. It's not okay to be gay here because of all the religious people.
People here are much more liberal, much more pluralist.
In comparison to other Middle Eastern countries, Israel is in a very good situation regarding gay people. Indeed, but there is still lots to do.
לרגל פתיחת האירועים השונים.
The parade here in Tel Aviv is the only parade in the world that is part of the city schedule, produced by the city and completely paid by the city. That's why it's less commercial.
People who visit Israel come back to Tel Aviv because of its nightlife.
I think it's not a coincidence that Tel Aviv has become this crazy party city. So that's the way, for people to overcome, I guess, a lot of complicated emotions.
The Israeli military is known for many things around the world, but it's not known that it's very supportive for gay people.
It's not a part of my life. It's the life.
Yay, Israel!
Well, my very dear friend Michael Lucas, you know him from Lucas Entertainment, produced that and did this documentary I thought very interesting. You can see this little travel segment that we're doing with me as we travel the world. And of course, we start with Tel Aviv. We have a few slides here to tell you a bit about Israel, and I want to tell you about some of the travels. First off, anybody at the table been to Israel?
Yes.
You have? Where did you go?
I went all over Israel. I went
Okay.
for birthright and stayed a couple months after because the guys there are sexy.
Okay, yes, they are. And you have not?
I have not. I
as
actually
a
was.
DJ.
I actually was invited
Yeah.
to go to Israel, but at the time I was scared because it was when Hamas. And
Yes. All right. Well, let's see if we can overcome that. First off, we have a slide here. Let's walk through Tel Aviv and Israel pretty quickly. Do's and don'ts of Israel. And first off, we point out there aren't many don'ts. There's not a lot of don'ts to consider. First off, if you are in Israel, specifically in Tel Aviv, if you invite somebody out, you pay. That is the custom in Tel Aviv and Israel. So as a guest, international guest, if you invite somebody, you meet somebody at a bar or at the beach or whatever, the custom is for you to pay.
Used to be the custom here too.
Yeah.
It's my custom.
A lot of people forget that Israel basically is a desert, so water is very precious. And they have this thing which is very strange for Americans called small flush, big flush. Every toilet has 2 handle opportunities. One is small flush, perhaps urine. One is big flush, perhaps something else.
Vomit from drinking too much.
Exactly. So it's small flush, large flush. Water's very precious in Israel. Security and military presence is very stringent. You shouldn't be nervous about that. Americans go and they think, oh, wow, this is really bad. I see all of this military. It is not. It is a country that's been under attack from day one, from moment one, and by the way, has been under attack for thousands of years. Their military presence is very stringent, but it is good for the security of their people. Sex and gender issues. If you're trans, do you worry? If you're a woman, do you worry? The answer is flatly no. It is one of the most progressive societies about gender in the world. Women are viewed as close to parity to men of any place that I've been to in the world, 147 countries. English is widely spoken. You do not have to worry about language when you go to Israel because it is so widely spoken.
Unlike
and the
here
Jewish
at the table.
holidays,
You can get around anywhere
right,
with English.
Here, right? And Jewish holidays, remember that in Israel, almost everything comes to a stop on Saturdays. It's a religious holiday there. I've had so many people say to me, wait, it's Saturday and everything closed up on all the shops. Yes, it's their religious day of rest.
Sabbath.
And it's something, it's their Sabbath. And exactly.
It's a Jewish.
So those are the do's and don'ts broadly in Israel. Second, you see what to see when you're in Tel Aviv. 3 big recommendations. First, take a trip to Jerusalem. You can't go to Israel if you're gay, you want to stay in Tel Aviv, but take the day trip to Jerusalem. Second, when you're in the city of Tel Aviv, you want to go to Jaffa, which is the old city market in Tel Aviv. And third, if you have time to do it, take an overnight trip, 2 days and 1 night at least, to the Dead Sea and to Bethlehem. You want to float in the Dead Sea. Those are the big things that you should do. Besides, what's the really big thing to do? And we have this in our 3rd slide. What's gay in Tel Aviv? Everything. Acceptance of gay in Tel Aviv and Israel is almost universal. It was the first country in the world to integrate directly in their military, which says more than anything else you saw in that video. It arguably has the world's best gay nightlife, and that is because of weekly parties all over Tel Aviv, weekly parties every week. How can you not like Avida? Most people in Israel do not live in gay bars. They go to events, but there are gay bars, and the big one is Avida in Tel Aviv, and 7 nights a week you can go there. Their gay beaches are immense, and the number one is the Hilton Beach, and it means exactly that, in front of the Tel Aviv Hilton.
Very good.
And on a Saturday, when everything is at day at rest, there can be thousands and thousands and thousands of Jewish gay men and international visitors. Are you getting hot here?
Settle down, baby.
Oh, it's that
Oh,
good.
those
It is
cute,
that good.
hairy man.
It is
Ooh.
that good.
Right. And an example
Call
of
me
how
green and call me
gay
Gumby.
Tel Aviv is and Israel is Tel Aviv Pride. We've shown you there. In just a few weeks, June 14th, you might not be able to pick up and just go to Tel Aviv Pride, but perhaps you want to plan for next year. Tel Aviv Pride is one of the most traveled prides in the world. What do I mean by traveled? What I mean is more than 100,000 international visitors, meaning gay men mostly, visit Tel Aviv during Pride. That number is astounding. Imagine Canton, Ohio coming to Fort Lauderdale for our Pride Parade, because that's what happens at Tel Aviv, 100,000 gay men. It is super gay. So, what do y'all think about Israel? Any
Question.
Any thoughts?
Question. So, when you talk about the progression of Israel toward the LGBT community, do they have protections for the LGBT community that protect them from housing discrimination, job discrimination?
Actually, a
health
terrific
insurance?
question. The answer is no. And the reason is, from a society standpoint, they have moved beyond a long time ago, several decades ago, of needing to write it into law, because it's like now, do you need laws in Israel to protect black people, or would it be protecting your religious faith or whatever? They think the exact same way about gay. And so in general, no, there isn't. When the implementation of being in the military came true, you saw in that video, literally in Israel, it's one of the few places in the world that I visited where when they go, what are you talking about in terms of gay? We apologetically approach our travel in the world of going, we're gay. In Israel, they go, what are you talking about? Because it's not
even an issue.
It's not even an issue.
What about
that they're
trans?
concerned.
In the
You know, and it's something I've got to learn more about, but I don't think it's any issue because of the issue of gender equality. So whether you were a man to female or female to a man, the gender issue really trumps the trans issue.
As long as you ain't brown.
Other thoughts? Yes, exactly.
This is a new segment that we have on travel, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So every time we do this segment, do we look under our seats and then there is a ticket to Tel Aviv or to some, and you get to go?
Exactly.
Sorry.
All right, I'm going to use my chip here, guys.
All right, now your chip.
I'm going to throw in my chip. I'll be brief, probably.
Yeah.
The reason that Tel Aviv and all of Israel is so important for gay culture is because of just what Al said. For a year, all guys are required to go into the military. And if you've never been with a military guy, let me tell you, it can be a lot of fun, and there is a lot of muscle just inherent. That's everyone that is in Israel, for the most part. They are required to do that. So a very gay-friendly area where everyone was in the military means that there's a lot of military gay guys that are just looking to have fun with you being from whatever other country you're from, is going to visit and be the outsider that has lots of fun with the military guys.
I'm so glad I never have to worry about hearing political nuance when we hear from you.
Nothing with that. I believe in sleeping with all culture.
I came on Cuba.
I believe in sleeping with all culture. But additionally, if you're going there, I recommend going to Safed, which is the city of air. It is essentially an air temple built in the mountains. There's a city of earth, a city of water, a city of fire. There's Jerusalem, Tiberias, Hebron. But the city of air is the most fascinating to me because it's very artsy, meditation-oriented, and it's a very peaceful place to go. Not the most gay, but a lot of fun. Check it out.
All right. So, can we make a commitment? Let's take It's Happening Out to Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
June 2020. Wouldn't that be fun?
Absolutely.
We've gone to Havana. How about we set a new goal and go to Tel Aviv? It would be so much fun. All right. This is our first travel segment that we've done at It's Happening Out, and that is being gay and Tel Aviv Pride and Israel. We hope you'll look at going. Our final segment tonight is, of course, our road to Stonewall. We're approaching it. We're getting ready into moving to Pride Month, which is what it's called, Black History Month, Women's History and Celebration Month, and we have Gay Pride Celebration Month. We're getting ready to move into it for June. And on the road to Stonewall, we have done every week in terms of our gay icons. Tonight is a great one. We celebrate the rainbow flag creator, Gilbert Baker. Watch this.
I went from being a pretty dumb kid in Kansas and always feeling very outcast, feeling very different always. I went from that place to a place of liberation. So I went from Kansas to San Francisco at the very moment that gay rights was exploding. I came to flags because I was really not cut out to be a fashion designer, truthfully. So even though I wasn't able to pursue my dreams of being the next Yves Saint Laurent or Halston, I was in the right town and I had the right skill to be able to create banners and really to work on the whole visual presence of protest, and that ultimately led to making the rainbow flag. When the first flags went up on the flagpoles, Gay Freedom Day 1978, June 25th, right that first moment of the first flags, which were huge and handmade, I knew that this was the most important thing I would ever do. It first started in San Francisco, and then it was, New York and LA, and it spread and it spread and it spread. And by 1994, when I made the mile-long flag for Stonewall 25 in New York City, it was around the world. Yeah, it started with something that I'm making with my hands and sewing it, and it's beautiful, but it became a phenomena that the world embraced.
Well, how do you overestimate the iconic value of creating a rainbow and identifying it with an entire class of people, corporately, in cities, in city halls, in social media, in every possible way? So we celebrate Gilbert Baker, and each week when we do our Road to Stonewall and our celebration of our gay icons, all of our hosts participate and tell you something about our icon and attribute a quote to them. And we'll do the same tonight about Gilbert Baker, the rainbow flag creator, and we'll start with power.
Gilbert Baker was part of the drag activist group Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, but he quit when he realized that the images and video of the group were being used by right-wing Christian efforts. Gilbert Baker said, "The rainbow is a part of nature and you have to be in the right place to see it. It's beautiful, even the colors you can't see, that really fit us as a people, because we are all of the colors."
Nice.
I like that.
Aaron?
The colors you can't see, I relate to that. So the pride flag that we know has been revised multiple times since 1974 when he created it. It's highlighted issues like racism, the AIDS crisis, religious diversity, anti-war efforts, and of course, trans rights. Baker actually referred to the common six-stripe flag that we use as the commercial version because of stripes being taken out to make it cheaper for mass production. And Gilbert Baker said, "A true flag is not something you can really design. A true flag is torn from the soul of the people."
I dig that. Speaking on behalf of the flag, in 2015, MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, ranked the rainbow flag as an internationally recognized symbol on par with the recycling symbol.
Oh, wow.
That's insane recognition. And a quote from him: "Flags are about proclaiming power. That visibility is to lay to our success and to our justice."
Nice. Carlos?
Well, as a little kid from designer as well from a small town, the fact that he just changed the world with just this one thing, a flag, and he didn't have access to New York or Paris or London, and I just thought it was great. Gilbert Baker said, "Once I was finally liberated from Kansas, the first thing I did was to get a sewing machine because it is 1972 and I had to look like Mick Jagger and David Bowie every single second." Can we say taffeta jumpsuits?
Nice. And Joe?
Gilbert Baker said, "In most of the world, it's still not cool to be gay. You can be murdered in these places. You can be thrown in jail. Being gay in San Francisco is fun. Being gay in Saudi Arabia, that's a whole different matter."
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like the rainbow flag.
Because it's happy?
I don't like the rainbow colors, and I've expressed it repeatedly. And I realized recently when we selected this in Gay Icon that it is because, coming from a corporate world, I got tired of using a stereotype of the rainbow over and over and over
Rainbow
and
capitalism.
over again. Rainbow capitalism. And I didn't realize until this week that my rejection of the rainbow and the coloring and the flag was because of its representation of what it became, not how it started, which is why I love this segment so much, because it brought me back to a moment that I had forgotten. The first time I went to Key West for Key West Pride, they had that 1 mile flag that started on Duval Street and was on the Gulf of Mexico side on the western end of Key West. And the flag went for 1 mile all the way to the Atlantic side of Key West, down Duval Street. And this week, that all came back to me, and I could not believe I forgot that I was there for that moment. Because Key West, one of the gayest places on planet Earth, by the way, promoted the idea that the rainbow was a reflection from coast to coast. And they accomplished that metaphor in 1 mile. And I realized I forgot the importance of the rainbow. The road to Stonewall and our march over the next month to June 30th is a reminder that our entire community is paved with these kind of icons, that we forget what they contributed to our community, our civil rights efforts of Stonewall. And so I am thrilled to be a part of it this week, that Gilbert Baker in 1974 was critical, and was critical all the way through to that moment in Key West, and reminds the guy that came from a corporate world, commercial rainbows are fine as long as we remember why they were created. And tonight, I do that because of our gay icon of the week for Stonewall. Thank you, Gilbert Baker.
Oh, yeah. Before rainbow capitalism, there was revolution.
That is our show tonight. We hope you have enjoyed it. And as we always end our live show, it's time for us here at the Grand Hotel in Fort Lauderdale. We thank our partners here. We're sitting in the middle of Chris, their bar and a restaurant, and our partner from Jet's Pizza is here, and pizza is getting ready to be delivered.
Something smells
and
good.
my boyfriend Thomas is back. I was so thrilled last week.
You were
when I
missed.
asked him about his girlfriend. He said, it's not so good, and I got very excited. And, probably
You're like
not.
sausage.
Right? So here we are. Look at this beautiful pizza. We have gluten-free pizza for somebody.
What?
And we have all kinds of pizzas. Jet's here in South Florida. If you're in South Florida,
Somebody else.
eat
That
at
privilege
Jet's
pizza, right?
Thomas, we're happy to be here. We're happy that you're here and you've delivered pizza to us. I can't help but wonder, however, pizza is not the most fit food that you can eat.
Yeah.
How do you keep looking this way and looking so thin and
Hot.
fit
Well,
and hot?
I actually do a lot of cardio here in the Wilton Manors area.
A lot of cardio.
A lot of cardio.
Running away from
Define
Al Ferguson.
cardio.
It's running away from the three of you.
I've heard.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about the cardio later and what that exactly
Oh,
means.
God.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. Get out of my shot, as I always tell you. Back off the stage.
That core muscle strength, girl.
That's our show tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a good time. A lot of things that we've talked about. We say goodnight to you, and as we always do, all of the hosts get the opportunity to say goodnight also. And I don't know why. Somebody asked me this recently. Why do you always start with Power Infiniti? I don't know, except he pays me $20 every time we do it. And saying goodnight, Power Infiniti.
Good night, children. Don't listen to this bitch.
And my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers.
And Napoleon Plays, my friend.
Good night, Dr. Moises. Pleasure to meet
Oh!
you.
I
have to say that again.
Oh my gosh, Uber flirt.
Ay, Dios mío, yo no sé lo que está pasando aquí, carajo, yo no sé.
And to my friend Carlos Marrero.
Good night, fashionistas, and remember that smiles are always in fashion.
Exactly.
Aw.
And to my friend Joe Brookman.
Yes. Thanks for watching It's Happening Out, family. And if you like sequence and,
He's a
and
Jones.
hate big government, then click subscribe, okay? Love you.
Yeah. All right. And as we always tell you, America, I'm really passionate about this. We all are connected with it. It's happening out. We're trying to find the footprint of where our gay culture is, where our gay community is, and where we're going forward. Because Stonewall is going to approach. But what's going to happen the day after our 50th celebration of Stonewall? And that's where we're going next. And remember, if it's important to you, America, it's happening out.
Woo!
Good night, America.
Good night.